It's episode 7, I believe, but I could be wrong because I lose count a lot of times. Anyway, I'm AJ. I'm joined by FriedBiscuits, fellow Twitch streamer, YouTuber. He's been doing Nintendo commentary video situations. I know a video that he was working on that got reworked in real time. How you doing?
Not bad.
How
not too bad.
How's that going? How's the going back on YouTube? Because I know you mess with it for a little bit and then you dipped out, went back to mainly just streaming.
Well, freaking I got burnt out pretty quickly because I was just trying to push for partner, and then I got it, and then I felt okay, let me take a break, and I took too long of a break and lost partner.
Oof. So video creation wise, because I've seen your videos, but it's been more sporadic, so I haven't really been able to get a gauge of do you write your videos, or is it a stream it it's like what Jackson does where he just it does it on stream?
No, I don't do it on stream. No way. Okay. But I've been trying to. My new format is writing them now. I try to write out my videos, but then a lot of the times it just go off script anyway. Yeah. If I want to put my own thought, more of my own thoughts onto it.
Is it structured at all for you? For me, it's I have a general idea of okay, this is what I want. This is a thesis of the video. This is the title. This is what the thumbnail looks like, and I'm gonna talk until I have a good a good grasp on the beginning of that, and then I figure out where do I land, and then I just write until I land it. That is just how it works. There's no real outline.
So I have an idea in my head, and it starts to formulate. So when everything starts to come together, I start really typing it down because I really want to get it thoughts on paper kind of thing. Sometimes I have a title before it, sometimes I don't, but my biggest problem, I never have a thumbnail ready.
Oh my
ever.
God.
Ever.
I can't.
I put the thumbnail together right before I go, before I publish it.
Usually the thumbnail is the first thing I do. When I think of I want to talk about this thing, before I green light the video for myself, I have to make the thumbnail. Because if I can't make a thumbnail that I think is good before I start the video, it's just not even worth doing to me.
There's only one time I had someone else do a thumbnail for me. Well, scratch that. I had 2 times I had a thumbnail be made for me.
I didn't hear about the other time.
The other time I was making a thumbnail, Wood was getting so offended by it that he just redid the whole thing. He's do this, take this.
Yeah, you told me this story.
Bob was laughing the whole time, saying I like it, because Bob just likes he thought it was
that's bad
humor
and that's funny.
Yeah, it's so bad it's funny kind of thing. Yeah,
which is interesting because Bob is a big reason why I approach thumbnails in the way that I do. Because I always cared about thumbnails. I always knew that they were important. And that's why I went to Bob, because Bob is really good at thumbnails. And then it got to the point where I just, absorbed enough through osmosis that I'm comfortable now. But to approach it in the way that I've learned to approach it through him, it just takes a long time. So I've been waffling back and forth of trying to bring people in to make them, but it's just it's a whole thing.
My best click-through rate for a video was the crappiest thumbnail I've ever put together in my life.
And
it was the best click-through rate I've ever had. I still can't get that click-through rate.
Branding,
all I did was put a Korok on a crucifix and just put a title, Nintendo didn't want this. It was really funny.
Okay. So the topic of this video, this is a hard left turn, sort of. We're still talking about Nintendo. Donkey Kong Bananza. Nintendo Switch 2 came out, literally no games. It has nothing to play. How dare they release this $5,000 console with nothing to play? I'm just sitting here staring at my tablet. I have no video games to play. But Donkey Kong is out. It's coming out this week. Are we excited?
Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm picking this game up a day early. I'm not saying how, but I'm getting it a day early.
I know how. I already have this game in my Switch right now. I don't have it to play. But I did it the normal way.
I want to get all my first party games. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get Mario Kart World first party, but I want to get all my first party games physical.
Yeah, I had that phase.
This time around.
I had that phase with the first Switch, and then I started working with Nintendo, but developers widely. And usually when they give me games, it's digital. And I just don't like having my games all over the place. So I just was like, all right, all digital. We're doing all digital because I got them all in one place. It's convenient.
I did digital for a while. I mean, not even a while. Most of my games, the only time I ever really went physical were for like big releases, like either the Pokemon games sometimes, or like Odyssey I have in the background, or Smash Bros, or Breath of the Wild. Like big releases. Tears of the Kingdom, however, I got Mega Man to get me that game a day early.
You used the Narnian loophole.
I used the Narnian loophole.
I stopped doing that. Mostly because it's like, I don't know. I feel like on Twitch, for me specifically, people don't want to watch it early, man. They just want to watch it when it comes out because they want to like play it at the same time. So I'm just like, it's not even worth it for me.
I just wanted to play it more than I just wanted to play it
fair.
early.
I'm like always bouncing around because like part of me is like, well, it's worth playing it a little early because like if I want to make a video about it, it's worth it for that. But I don't know. This one, I wanted it on. I wanted it in my Switch. I've been waiting for it. So like usually I'm like I don't like doing the preloading thing because I feel like I'm torturing myself. But this time for whatever reason I was like, it feels good. It feels good to look at it and know that it's happening soon. So I pre-downloaded it. I got what I do usually and what I have done since I stopped using the Narnian loophole is I go like, Newegg usually has like get Nintendo Switch eShop card $100 for $80. It's on sale right now. And like Costco and Sam's Club, they all have like a little discount. When they were still doing the vouchers, that's what I would do. I would get the $100 gift card and then get the vouchers. But now we don't got the vouchers, so I just got the $100 gift card, and then that's just the next two games that I know that I'm getting at least, and that's Donkey Kong, and then there's Dragon Drive. That's that, and then I think I have like $20 left over or something, like because I still have gold coins that I haven't used, and Dragon Drive's 20 rather than 30.
I got Donkey Kong already. Dragon Drive I want to try out, and then to try it once and probably never.
I just think it would be a fun. Well, for the thing for me is like when I first saw the game, I felt like how I think you probably feel about the game and how a lot of creators that I've seen talk about the game that are in our circle feel about the game. But my friends, you met Colton and Lee. I know you met Lee. I don't know if you met Colton.
I met Lee and I didn't meet Colton.
Okay, well, Colton and Lee.
I seen him on stream and stuff, though.
They watched the Nintendo Direct with me, and they were both hyped for the game. So I'm like, all right, bet, I'm getting it. Because I know that's just going to be a fun time. Because they're excited for it. So that's always cool. I'm
it looks kind of fun, though. I'm not knocking. Like,
I think it will be a fun stream game. I think that it would be very fun for that, especially.
It's also kind of a new IP, so I'm interested to see where they take it, or if they're just going to drop it.
Exactly. It's like, is this like a something that they're probably going to do more things with? Like, I think ARMS will eventually see again. I think the fact that Min Min was in Smash Brothers says a lot about how they feel about that IP. But Dragon Drive, I don't know. It doesn't feel like that's something that they're going to go back to the well. Maybe that's like a good job, snipper clips. This fun little goofy distraction, but we'll never see it ever again. But I don't know. It could be cool if we do. Maybe the game is more than I'm expecting it to be, which is always exciting. It's always an exciting prospect. But something
at the end of the month. Is it the end of this month or next? I think it's the end of this month. We also get the Mario Party DLC.
Oh, yeah, Jamboree. Oh, no, that's what the other game was. That's what the other $30 in my head I allotted for was Jamboree.
I want to play that.
I
want to do some iToy games, man.
Absolutely. I forgot about that. That is so Jamboree. How much have you played Jamboree? Like the initial release on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to play that so much, but everybody I know has it is not around at the same times, or they're like, oh, I might get it. I feel like it's going to be a Switch 2 era thing. It's like they're going to get it because it has the Switch 2 edition upgrade.
I think Jamboree is good. I think it's fun. My personal issue with the game is like it should. I don't know if this is it should have been DLC for Superstar or whatever. The last one.
I think that's crazy. I mean, like, I get it. But,
or even then, even if it's not, because there's a lot of other things and bells and whistles that they added. Mm-hmm. A lot of the mini games that were on Superstar are not in this one. And it pisses me off because there's a lot of really good mini games.
So I agree with the spirit of what you're saying, but logistically it doesn't make sense. Like when the Nintendo Switch first came out, that was like a big thing or before the Nintendo Switch came out, like I made a video talking about how I wanted, there's a few games that I basically am like, just turn these into service games. Smash Brothers should be a service game. Mario Party should be a service game. Pokemon, I argue, should be a service game. The things that they try to get you to buy multiple sequels for per generation, it's just like, we don't need that. In 2025, you could just give us the content on the game that we already have. You could spend more time on the foundation, so on and so forth. So I agree with that. But Jamboree, I don't think had the forethought necessary to do that. I mean, not Jamboree, Superstars didn't have and also Jamboree, but technically, I guess not, because they're sort of doing it with this Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So in that way, I don't think Superstars can do what they're trying or what they tried to do with Jamboree in the same way, where if they tried to build Jamboree onto Superstars, it would just be like the boards from Jamboree and not so much like the different mechanics that they put into the game.
Yeah, it would have been the boards. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that way, I prefer it the way that we got it, ultimately, because we got more than we would have in that scenario when they're not thinking about it beforehand. But I do think that Mario Party like is the kind of franchise that would be good for just building on top of a foundation rather than giving us a new buy this sequel and buy this sequel and buy this sequel. But
I agree.
I think
I kind of agree with that.
They went in the opposite direction with Mario Party in the Switch era than I thought they would.
I feel like though, like I feel like Nintendo's wouldn't really want to do a live service game, though. No, it's like every Nintendo game. I
agree with that, because I think they would. I think they already do, but they just don't support them as long. Like Splatoon is a service game. Splatoon 3 is a service game. Smash Bros. Ultimate was a service game. It's just they support them for 3 years instead of like planning to support them for the 6 to 7 that they're actually going to exist in the zeitgeist. It's like they're already half of the way there. They just don't like commit like a skeleton team to like maintaining it for the life of it. And there's I
don't think they see a profit in it to maintain it that long.
Yeah, it really just depends on how they approach it. Because I think when people think service games, they think service games in a very different way from what I mean when I say it. Like, usually in my experience, when I say turn Pokemon into a service game, for instance, they're like, oh, you just want Pokemon to be like nickel and diamond me for Pokeballs and like that sort of thing. It's like, no, I don't think that. I think that there's like elements from different service games that make sense in Pokemon, where it's like instead, and I've talked about this a bunch of times, I don't want to talk about this forever, but instead of like it being a thing where it's like, okay, new generation, all right, new remake, okay, another new generation, but or the same first generation, but it's like the finished version, or in the modern era DLC. Instead of doing that, it's like, here's Gen 10, we spent 7 years working on the foundation to this game. 2 years later, here's an expansion to Gen 10. It's $40-$50 and it's just the remake region and 200 more Pokemon. Like they dropped the foundation game and it is the like 400 to 600 Pokemon that we usually get in a base game. And instead of being like, here's another game that has 400 more Pokemon, but it's a mixture of 200 that you got before and 200 different ones and that kind of thing.
What you're describing is like an MMO light.
Yeah,
MMO light, like
essentially,
but like what MMOs do, but not having,
not being as aggressive about it. Yeah. Which, yes, that's what I mean. It's like take certain aspects. You don't got to go full bore, but certain aspects of it I think would work. But like I said, I don't want to spend forever talking about that. I do want to talk about so my thinking for this, and I think that it could help us a lot with like guiding where we think it could go in terms of like what Nintendo's plan is looking at what the Nintendo Direct that they did for Switch, the first big Nintendo Direct post launch for Nintendo Switch, and seeing like what did we get then. Because we were in a very similar situation back then that we are now, where we knew some stuff that was coming up. Yeah. They launched the console and people were feeling very similarly in terms of like, all we got is insert phenomenal game that people have been asking for years, but we're not happy with just that. So it's like, and then we ended up getting that Nintendo Direct and people were like shocked at how much we actually did end up getting. And it resulted in like, now people look back on 2017 as like being one of the best years for gaming, period. Where when we were in 2017, people were acting like we were in a drought.
True.
So there's
also differences too. Like,
okay,
like, and
there's a huge one that I'm literally about to get on, but keep going.
But Switch 2, it launched. Yeah, we had Breath of the Wild launch with it, but it was also on our Wii U. And then also the other thing too was like, I felt like there was nothing on the system when it came out.
There wasn't in comparison.
Bare bones.
Absolutely not. There definitely wasn't, and that's the thing. So
Switch 2 has like you got your previous library.
They have like 9,000 games playable from the last generation. We got way more like full AAA third-party video games as well out the gate.
And then you got Mario Kart World right off the rip, which is their first party title, I guess.
Yeah, and Mario Kart 8 didn't launch. It was the launch window, but it didn't come day and date.
No, and they also had a launch window for Odyssey, right? If I'm not mistaken, Odyssey had a launch window as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think they said what the launch window
and also Splatoon 2 had a launch window.
Yeah. So in this Direct, and this is a big thing. So the first big change that's different about this Direct that's not going, or the 2017 one that I'm referencing, the first thing that we're not even going to like have to consider is a lot of it was dedicated to 3DS. They showed Hey Pikmin, Ever Oasis, Monster Hunter Stories, Yokai Watch 2, Cold Step Revolt, RPG Rainmaker, Miitopia, and like 8 other games on top of that. All for 3DS. So that's one part of the Direct. And this Direct, I think, was like around an hour-ish. I feel like if we're going to get a Nintendo Direct, it's probably going to be around that same length. It's probably going to be 40 to like 60-ish minutes. Because I feel like when they do Nintendo Directs now, it usually is that. It's all or nothing. It's like... well, obviously we still do get the like game dedicated Nintendo Directs, the Pokemon Direct, that's also going to happen. But when they do general Nintendo Directs, they're usually like an hour, give or take. So we're going to get that full hour and it's just going to be Switch 2 games, which I think in and of itself is big. So looking at... You think it's going to be all Switch 2 games, not like any Switch 1 games? Yeah, we'll probably get Switch 1 games, but like in essence, that's still a Switch 2 game, no?
Yeah, because it plays on the same system.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a separate family.
And I'd imagine that all, if not most, will either have like Switch 2 editions or they'll like pay more attention to like the Switch in the sense that like, some Switch games that are backwards compatible on Switch 2, it's like not as, in some ways it's better to play it on the Switch 2 if you're playing it on your TV, but like a lot of them look worse handheld because the screen it just like low resolution games and they look blurry and weird. I'd imagine
Xenoblade is one of those.
Yeah,
it looks so bad.
It does. I'd imagine that the Switch 1 games released in the Switch 2 era for the most part are going to like address that mostly. Obviously, there's going to be like certain developers that don't care to do that, but I think more of them than not will account for that, especially like if we then narrow it down to like, okay, there will be X amount of Nintendo Switch games, but how many of the Nintendo Switch games do we actually care to play on the Switch 2? You know what I mean? So looking at
if they're gonna announce any like remakes too.
Yeah, it'll probably be remixed automatic. I think that that's going to be a lot of like what Nintendo specifically does, because it's already kind of what they've done. Because they said that they're going to continue to support the Nintendo Switch. So if they're supporting the Nintendo Switch, I'd imagine that most of their output is going to be, just like the Paper Marios of the world, the Mario movies, those kinds of situations. So with this Nintendo Direct, what they did for Switch is they gave a release date for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We got an announcement for Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. We got an announcement for Minecraft, Arcade Archives, Sonic Mania, and Sonic Forces were confirmed for Switch. Project, what is this? Announces new game under working title. Do they have a hyperlink to what this game actually ended up being? Because I don't remember this. Oh, Flip Wars. It was Flip Wars, but it was under a code name. Fatus Extella. We got an overview of that game. Disgaea 5 Complete, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Monopoly, Rayman.
Most of those games are out, though, too, no? Some of those games are out already.
All of these games are out. I'm talking about these are the games that we got in the first big post-release Switch Direct.
Oh, okay.
So we got Rayman. THQ Nordic did a variety of games. They talked about the Nintendo Switch dock standalone release. They talked about the Splatoon 2 overview trailer, and they announced an event for Splatoon 2. So that was that full direct for the first big one that we got. I think apart from the Nintendo Switch being the full focus instead of like also having 3DS games, I think something we'll see here is a lot more third parties. I think that I think all third parties are holding their cards close to their chest right now. None of that, because there's been multiple that have had their own showcases that are heavily rumored to have games, like Xbox, for instance. None of them are talking about their Switch games. Like a few of them, I feel like Bandai Namco, they are the most recent one, and they announced like one Nintendo Switch 2 game, and it was like a visual novel kind of situation. They have to have more than that. They have to. Bandai Namco, like every Japanese developer, especially. If you look at like weekly media create charts, it's all Nintendo. Every like 5 months, there might be one PlayStation game that's on the top 10, but it's full of Nintendo in Japan. So every Japanese developer, I feel like, has to have a lot of different games in the works at bare minimum, on top of the ones that like Xbox.
We even have that. We even have a Dust Bloods, a freaking FromSoft
Dust Bloods, exclusive. And that's supposed to come out this year too. Kirby Air Riders is coming out this year.
This year?
Yeah.
Dust Bloods?
Oh no! Dust Bloods is 2020. Is that the 2026 one? I need to look at it.
Yeah.
It's 2026.
This year, I'm losing my mind.
It's Kirby Air Riders is the one that I was like, that's this year. What the heck? But yeah, the Dust Bloods will probably. I could see them saying more about that. We get a release window, especially given. Mm-hmm.
Wait, we might get a release window, but I know that like FromSoft doesn't really show off their games too much.
Yeah. Okay, so to confirm, yes, 2026 for Dust Blood.
They release like 2 trailers, 3 trailers at most, and they're pretty much all the same, just different supercuts. They don't like to reveal too much when it comes to their games.
You don't think? I think what they could potentially do is they do a trailer and they just showcase the stuff that they already talked about in the developer's voice or creator's voice thing, because there is more that we know that there's just they didn't put a name to the bullet in a sense, where they talked about like, oh, this is a 8-player online, like, or 12-player. There's 12 different characters. It's this like pseudo
that has me a bit nervous
about the 12 different characters or the 8-player thing.
That it's okay. So like I love my Souls like games, right? Like I like FromSoft usually.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that they're doing a battle royale kind of thing. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous about it. I mean, the last Elden Ring Night Ring, it's fun.
That's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna ask, because I know you played that with Bob. It was like you with Bob and Jackson.
I like it, but I have my issues with it.
Which know,
so for starters, it's just like a battle royale is. It's very RNG focused. It's extremely RNG focused, and it's inherently not bad. But like in a Souls game where you're trying to not to get screwed over at every possible turn, you try to get like your like a build all set and ready so that like you have some kind of a fighting chance when you're fighting whoever.
Right.
And having that like kind of ripped away from you and just hopefully I get this build sucks. You know what I mean?
How do the like super tryhards, do you follow any of them? Like, how do they feel about Night Rank? Because I feel like a lot of times, even games that I feel like that, with Pokemon is a good example, where like me, I know a decent amount about VGC. I ultimately are like, this is RNG. Like it's rock, paper, scissors, and it's RNG. But people that are super into competitive feel like that you can manipulate everything to a chance that you'll always win. You know, like the Wolfies of the world are like, nah, this is winnable. You know, like I can win with, you give me enough time and whatever Pokemon and blah, blah, and I can win. Do you think they feel more like that, or are they also
probably?
Like,
I mean, there are ways to you know, get like a particular build, but you're not going to be guaranteed a specific weapon. You'll just have a weapon in that type that you're looking for.
Right.
Also, I don't know if they changed it, but not having a way to communicate in the game really sucks. Like if you have or just being stuck with just 3 players and not being able to run it with 2 really stinks too in Night Rain.
Yeah. Why couldn't you communicate? What, can you not use voice chat through the console?
Nope. Nope.
That's the so that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing that people are always complaining, because I ignore voice chat entirely. Like I just use Discord. If I 9 times out of 10, I'm talking to humans that I know. I don't want to be on voice chat with random people, so I don't know how they usually handle that sort of thing with these other platforms.
Which I don't recommend. I don't do it. But if you to jump into like battle royale, right? You need a way to communicate with whoever you're with. You needed to be like, hey, I'm going there, or I play battle royale
games, but it's just with my friends.
Yeah. Well, if you're playing with your friends, then it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. But the thing was that Night Rain was forcing a third player on you, where if you want to just play duos,
they do Night Rain and they put game chat. That's what they do. It's the Nintendo Switch 2 edition with game chat. Now you can talk to anybody, even though that's not even true.
You can see them on the camera too. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. But even then, that's not true for that either. Because even with game chat, they have to be on your friends list, or they have to be on your friends' list.
True.
So it's not a full free for all for that game either. So what's your like wish list game? Because right now my wish list game, what I want to see in the next Nintendo Direct is I want Marvel Rivals, because I want to play Marvel Rivals and mouse mode. I need it. I need that.
Marvel Rivals would be nice on the Switch. My wish list game, I want to see a new Zelda, man. I know we got one like.
You want a Tears of the Kingdom situation? You want them to announce a Zelda game and us have to wait 7 years or whatever for it to actually come out?
Yeah, I want a new Zelda game. I'm a huge Zelda nerd. I want a Zelda game, and I want a 3D Mario.
I think we'll get 3D Mario. I think it's crazy if we don't get 3D Mario on the 40th anniversary of Mario. I think that's nuts. I think Donkey Kong Bananza specifically had me like initially being like, I don't know, maybe we don't get 3D Mario. Maybe this is the 3D Mario thing, because it is the Odyssey team. But Koizumi, that brother, I don't see him poking his head in talking about, yo, it's Donkey Kong Bananza, I'm here for the interviews. There's a different director on that game. So what is Koizumi doing? Because he was the director of the last 3D Mario game. That's his thing. So, I feel like there's no way we don't get 3D Mario. I think that's probably their holiday game because we still don't have a Switch 2 holiday game.
Isn't it? Well, I wouldn't say it would be appealing for everybody, but they have like Metroid coming out for the holidays, that's really, like in November.
Holiday game. And plus, that's not a Switch 2 game. It's a Switch game. Same thing for like both. I would say yes, but I'm saying like it's not a Switch 2 game. Like they're going to have a Nintendo Switch 2 only holiday game. Right now, I would say that their holiday game by this metric is Pokemon Legends Z-A. Right now, it's the biggest game that we know about that still has yet to release. But I think, and even that isn't in November. So they still have their big gun for Nintendo Switch 2. And I would bet a lot of money that it's not a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's like, this is a Switch 2 game. You need a Switch 2 to play it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, a Mario game would be nice. But for them to like not talk about it at all and then to release it like a month or two later, I don't know if they'll do that.
I think
like,
they
usually their Mario games
I think that they do that is because Donkey Kong Bananza. Because like there's so many people that like, again, this is like I think it's a little different in terms of like it's not, to me it doesn't feel like a Mario game, right? It's made by the Mario Odyssey team. But I think a lot of people will look at that or would have looked at that and be like, okay, platformer to platformer, I'm buying Mario. I'm not buying Donkey Kong.
Well, interestingly, the producer from Odyssey is working on Bananza.
Yes.
But the director.
But the director's not. Koizumi. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, he worked on open world game design for Square Enix for a while, and Nintendo scooped him up. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
And I mean, the last Mario thing that we got that was new was Bowser Fury. That was them dipping their toe.
Yeah, we haven't had a 3D Mario in a while.
We haven't.
They might have been cooking on something for a hot minute.
I think they were. I think that's why we got Bowser Fury. I think they were thinking about what does open world Mario look like, and they gave us a little taste. They said, "Yo, we're cooking an open world Mario game. Here's what that might look like."
You know what I hope also that I mean, everybody's been saying, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would like an actual, like a Zelda remake.
The original Zelda?
I don't know if I want the Ocarina time. I feel like I would want Ocarina, but I also want, now this might be a weird take, I kind of want a Zelda 2 remake, even though it would never happen.
A Zelda 2 remake? Like, how faithful do you want this remake?
What?
How faithful do you want this remake?
I don't want it faithful. No,
okay.
Don't want it faithful.
Because the only thing that I'm down for, I'll take whatever game you say if it plays like Breath of the Wild. If it's just like Echoes of Wisdom Core, like I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm done. I don't need no more traditional Zelda games. I was already burnt out before Aonuma gave me the whole spiel.
I like my traditional Zelda games, but with a twist. Like I loved what was it? A Link Between Worlds.
I like Link Between Worlds. I did like that game. I like A Link Between Worlds. The 2D Zelda games, I'm a little bit more okay with, but even them, for me, is like hit or miss. They're too RPG-y. It's too fetch questy-y. It's too like talk to this guy before you can get this thing that you know you have to get, and the reason for it is, I don't know.
Well, that's why I liked A Link Between Worlds because
it didn't do that. Yeah.
They didn't do that. No, right. You can just go wherever you want.
And that was them working towards where they landed with Breath of the Wild. Like I remember Aonuma talking about that a lot, where he was like, we want to rethink our conventions and stuff. And something that they talked about, one of those conventions that they still haven't broken, is he talked about single player being a big core tenet for Zelda. Mm-hmm. Co-op in the next Breath of the Wild.
I would love a co-op
video game.
That would be sick.
Something that
they have a system for it now.
Something like that's also very core to Nintendo. Something they do a lot. The internet hates
they got
it.
really aggressive with Point Crow when he did the multiplayer mod. Maybe they've been cooking on something.
Exactly. That's what they do, man. It's like
usually when they're cooking on something and somebody else beat them to the punch, they're so aggressive.
They're gonna nuke it.
Like insanely
Copyright
aggressive.
Law. Rip. Ain't the system.
They'll let them cook for a while, but not like.
But once it becomes a thing, instant. Once it's tangible, they're like, all right, you gotta go.
Basically, yeah.
You gotta get out of here.
I mean, they did it with Mario Maker. pretty much.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so, when people were making their own levels, they left that alone for a while, and then boom,
I think it's a big possibility, man. I think that's probably because again, that was something that he was very express about. He said like, "Yo, we're thinking about all the conventions and everyone that he mentioned, except for the single player tenet. They rethought and they redid in Breath of the Wild." And I thought, like, looking at Tears of the Kingdom, that might have been where they did it, because, you know, in the first trailer that we got, where it was the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, it was Zelda and it was Link in the cave together. So like, is the co-op game? Question mark. And it wasn't. But maybe the next Zelda game. That said, I don't think we get that. I don't think we get that in the next direct. No way.
No way.
That game.
I would lose my gourd.
The next Zelda game is at least, I want to say, 5 years away, at least.
But the thing I'm already excited about, I've been excited about, is Metroid Prime 4. I'm just hyped to play Metroid Prime 4.
I'm down for Metroid Prime 4, but I've never been a huge Metroid fan. I'm realizing I just don't really like Metroidvanias in general. I'm hoping that Metroid Prime specifically will like awaken something in me.
I'm hoping that there's some hidden stuff that they weren't talking about. Like, I know it's not really an FPS game. It's a Metroidvania game. Yeah. I'm very much aware of that. But it would be really cool if they had an FPS mode with multiplayer on it. You know,
there was like a lot of rumors about that before. I think that was like
it can be their like little Halo that they have or whatever.
I mean, a lot of people that worked on Halo moved to retro, but also a lot of the people that moved to retro from Bungie at the time left because they stopped making Metroid. But I think that a lot of those people actually also came back. Like, there's a lot of people that moved from Bungie to retro studios. Once they moved to Donkey Kong, they left. And then once they announced that they were working on Metroid Prime 4, some of them came back. So maybe
possible.
Maybe we get some kind of so I thought for a long time that they were going to bet, or that they were already betting the bank on Metroid Prime 4. I thought that they were going to make a bigger deal about Metroid Prime 4 than they are, because of how like relatively lenient they have been with that game. Like the fact that they announced that game at the start of the generation. That was like one of the first new games that they announced. And it's been in development. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. They went through the whole development cycle, canceled it, and then said, okay, let's start it again. To me, that said to me that they were going to try to position that as their like new Breath of the Wild. Because like a lot of gamers look at Zelda is not Zelda, or wasn't Zelda's reality until Breath of the Wild. Like, the biggest Zelda game was Ocarina of Time, and that game, if you cheese the numbers a little bit and you count the 3DS version and the Wii release, it passed 10 million copies sold. That's not, okay. You wouldn't think, you know, like the way that the way that gamers talk about Nintendo and their IP that matter, it's always like Mario, Pokemon, Zelda being the trifecta. 10 million units sold for one of your video games and nothing else has really come close to that is not worthy of it being in that trifecta. Now, I would say it is. So it felt like, to me, they were trying to make that happen again, or I assumed that they were going to try to make that happen again with Metroid, with how much rope they were giving them. But now it feels like they're kind of just trying to bury it a little bit. It's like they're not really talking about Metroid Prime 4. And the fact that we still don't know a release date, I don't know. Maybe we get some kind of Metroid Prime 4 direct that...
Well, you know what game has come close to Ocarina of Time besides the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom? Mm-hmm. One of my favorite entries was Twilight Princess. That came actually close.
What was that, like 8, 9?
10.
It was 10?
10.
Oh, is it 10 after the Wii U version?
Yep. Oh. That's why.
Oh my God. Fair enough, man. I hate that game. I don't like 3D
you
Zelda.
And Bob hate it.
I don't like 3D Zelda except for Wind Waker, and that is pending as well. I wanted to replay Wind Waker, but Trev kind of talked me out of it, if I'm being real.
Wind Waker is... I love and hate Wind Waker. I hate it for the whole big thing of the sea. I hate the sea. I hate the open sea. It's so bad. It's just a whole empty. It's like a whole big thing of emptiness. Yeah. It's just one big giant Hyrule field that sucks.
Yeah. I think how I feel about Wind Waker right now, and I can see it. Like when people talk about why Wind Waker's also not good, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But like in my head, I went through the thing that I feel like a lot of Pokemon fans go through, where my last memory of Wind Waker is the Wii U version. So like it's like, okay, the sailing's way faster. They reworked the last quest, like that whole thing. So I'm like, that game, you know, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
In the same way that when people think about Pokemon, whether they acknowledge it or not, they're thinking about, oh, I'm playing on an emulator, I'm speeding through stuff, I have reworked sprites, and like I can do ROM hacks and randomizers.
It's the same thing with when I play 3D Zelda games. Like, you know how like you said, like you hate that formula being stuck. Like my whole game is just open ended. I just play a randomizer.
Yeah, exactly. So
I freaking love it.
That's the thing, where it's like, I know that I mean, who knows? I think Pokemon specifically would never do something like that. But Nintendo, I mean, they made Mario Maker. So like I could see them maybe doing some kind of crazy wacky
an official randomizer
sort of thing. I could see
I would lose it, but I don't think they would ever do it.
I can see it. I think
randomizers has been a thing for years now.
They got Silly Goofy. They got Silly Goofy last generation, F-Zero 99, Mario 35. There's a lot of like even before that NES remix. Like I don't know, man. Maybe.
Well, they also, I know, Echoes of Wisdom was originally supposed to be a Zelda dungeon builder,
and then they scrapped it. They said, "Nah, this isn't." I think that's very similar.
That's a really hard thing to do.
It's very similar to the like Sonic thing, where people are like, "Yo, they need to make an official Sonic maker," and it's like Sonic is like in this very weird space where like it's like terminal velocity of like if you change anything in either direction, it's instantly bad. Like you need to nail the level design for a Sonic game to be good, and if it's a little soft or a little too hard, it's not going to work out. So I think that's why we're not going to see that. And I feel like that's probably how they feel about Zelda, where it's like, not necessarily that it will be bad, but the experience isn't intuitive enough. And to be able to make dungeons that feel worthwhile, it would take a very specific kind of person. Whereas like, it's a lot easier to do something like that with Mario. Like me personally, I don't like, and Bob has told me that I just haven't looked recently and I'm not looking in the right places. But I don't like Mario Maker. I feel like I like the idea of it and I like actually making the levels, but I don't like a lot of the levels that actually get made. I don't like the Kaizo Mario genre. So it's like everybody trying to make levels that'll make you hate yourself, which is cool in moderation. I don't like dislike that idea of the level like in general. It's just more so that it's all I ever see. I want to see levels that are also like mechanically interesting. I want to see like, oh, I never would have thought to make a level that is centered around this thing, or the way that they designed it is doing it this way specifically, you know, that kind of thing.
I'm the wrong person to talk about
the Kaizo like sort of thing,
the Kaizo stuff, and
you do like
what other level doesn't.
That is, yeah.
I do like to torture myself. So I do like to play like really hard challenges. However, what I mean by I'm the wrong person is there might be interesting mechanical. I don't know. I haven't played enough of Mario Maker to know if they made like some really sick like.
Bob has told me that they have. But I just dipped out too early, apparently. Or again, maybe I'm looking in the wrong places.
Like I think the cool things is like I think like you can play different characters, right? And they have different movesets, or like it plays completely different than what Mario would do.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is cool. I like to see Link running around over there. I don't know if he's in Mario Maker 2, but I think so.
Didn't they take out the mystery mushroom situation?
They might have. I remember seeing it. I don't know if it's still there though.
That made me angry about Mario Maker 2 as well. I'm mad because it's something that like in a lot of ways we literally like, because I made a video with Bob and a lot of stuff that happened in the game, we were like, just do this. And then they basically just did that. But they also removed the stuff that like the intangible things about the original Mario Maker that made that so endearing. Where it's like, the silly goofy stuff where it's like instead of going into a menu and pressing to hold to select a different shell, you pick up the Koopa and you shake them out of the shell, and then you shake the shell and then it changes the shell to have different properties and stuff like all that kind of thing was like very like Mario Maker 2 feels like the way I describe it is like Mario Maker 1 is like if Steve Jobs made it, and Mario Maker 2 is if Tim Cook made it. Like it's very clinical. Like it feels. Damn. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Where it's like
I also heard like Mario Maker 1 was easier to make levels on with the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah. That's also true.
So talking about Direct.
Yeah. There's okay. I was going to talk about the Pokemon one. There's a Pokemon one.
Okay.
So you said, oh, were you going in a different direction? Is there something else?
I'll go after. I'll talk about it after.
Okay, so Pokemon. So we know that there is another Direct that we do know exists. Okay, also context that might be necessary, but I don't know. I don't know how necessary it is because I don't know if that like this rumor specifically is like going to materialize or not. Nate the Hate does think that there's going to be, or says that there's going to be a Direct after Donkey Kong. So after Donkey Kong and being in July. So we might get a Nintendo Direct. A regular Direct that we don't officially know about yet. He says that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this month. So I would assume
where did you get that info from?
You said, where did Nate the Hate get the info from?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that man's sources. You tell me.
I can't. Don't comment.
But yeah, that's what he said. I don't really put that much stake in that sort of thing generally because I have had various sources tell me similar things, and things change all the time. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That
is true.
Could not happen. It could be for one reason or another. Who knows? All I know is that we will eventually get another Nintendo Direct this year. That's all I'm saying. But
I think we're bound to get a Nintendo Direct this year. It's like it's a given.
They usually do one in the summer.
They like to do stuff before the holidays. It has to happen.
They usually do one in the summer, and then they have done historically like end of year, like September in that area, September, November, before holiday kind of thing. They do a Nintendo Direct. So we'll probably get 2, but either way, we're getting at least 1. But we also know we're getting the Pokemon Presents, and that is on July 22nd. We don't know anything about it other than that. What we do.
You think they're going to announce a new Animal Crossing?
At the Pokemon Direct? Absolutely. 100%.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no. We're getting the new Animal Crossing in the Pokemon Direct. Yep. Mm-hmm.
No, Nintendo's, man.
There's a rumor about that. But I feel like if they're going to, I don't know. They have the big one more thing usually, especially in the early life of a console. They like to bookend it where it's like, here's a big new thing that you didn't know about, and then the end of it, here's a big new thing that you didn't know about. So maybe that's a beginner or ender. But I feel like if we do get Animal Crossing, that's next year. If we get it at the earliest, we get it next year, and ideally it's like springtime. But
I feel like it would push consoles if they put out an Animal Crossing.
Absolutely, it would. 1,000,000% it would
push so many consoles.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, I don't know. They're not gonna announce it at the Pokemon thing. Probably not for a while. But a new mainline Pokemon game that's exclusive to the Switch 2 will push insane amount of consoles as well.
We're getting that. What I think might happen. All right, so moving into well, first of all, here's the low ball stuff. Here's the we'll absolutely see it and everybody will hate it. We're getting Pokemon Cafe remix updates. We might get a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's in 4K, it's 60 frames per second or whatever. It's 4K.
Hell yeah. Been waiting for that.
We get Pokemon Unite. We get that. We get, they announced the
Switch
next
2 edition. Actually, that would be sick.
Yeah, I could see it. We get
it runs in like 30 FPS, I think, right now.
Probably. I mean, I would imagine it's not that hard for them to do that because I think it already runs better elsewhere, as far as like Android and iOS or whatever. But we're definitely going to get that. They're going to say something about like the next 2 to 3 Pokemon, if not more. I think Well, obviously, I know we're definitely going to get them talking about like, oh yeah, Legends Z-A is coming out, and here's a little bit more info. I don't know what that info is. I still probably fruitlessly hope for some sort of multiplayer that will lead me to want to play it for a long time, because I think Legends Arceus dropped the ball on that hard. I think,
oh man, dude,
I think the fact that at any given time, like after like month 1 of Arceus, there was like more people playing Pokemon Sword and Shield than Pokemon Legends Arceus says a lot.
Yeah. I went back so I can play games with my chat.
Did you hate your life?
What?
Did you hate your life when you went back and you played it? Or did you have fun? I don't like it. I don't like it. When I played it the first time, it was magical. But then I saw through the seams and it became very systemic or systematic.
I would just do, the den fights. That was all I cared about, was getting shinies. I was just in that shiny hunting era.
There's not even enough shinies to do that for a lot. The game has 200 Pokemon.
No, but when the DLC had good shinies.
The DLC didn't add new Pokemon.
No, it didn't.
So what the heck? It made, and you know what? You know what's ironic about the DLC? The DLC, if anything, shortened the life of the game, because it made it easier to find the shinies that you want. Whereas like the base game, you kind of got to grind it out. You kind of be like, all right, I'm going to get every shiny that I can find until I find the ones that I want.
I was able to get shinies without the shiny charm.
It's so easy to find shinies. And that's one of the best things about the video game. I will give it that. But it puts everything about the game, I think, puts an expiration date on the game. It's like
Arceus had really easy shinies.
Yeah, 100%.
Arceus, it was like stupid easy. I think they patched it at some point because it was just ridiculous. I think I was building a living dex and had more than half of my decks filled out with shinies.
I could imagine. Me, I burnt out. So like I shiny hunt. I technically shiny hunt every week trying to get these shiny Zygardes. But for me, the only thing that keeps me shiny hunting currently is because it is a social thing. It's like I'm playing it together with my friends. We're all working towards trying to get these shinies and I'm not just doing it for the act of doing it. It's not like, because the act of doing it, the gameplay, the minute to minute is not actually fun. The thing that's fun is the socializing. So like that's what I need. I need them to have something that I can like socialize with people and play the game and have this communal experience.
Take it from someone who reset their game 10,000 times.
It's not fun. I don't want to. I tried to restart, because like another thing that I'm actively doing, I'm replaying every Pokemon game, every mainline Pokemon game all the way through. And I've tried to restart Arceus just to see if that makes me like it more. I just did not want to play it. I like got to a certain point and I'm like, ugh. All of the things that made me like burn out on the game in my first playthrough rushed back to me, and I'm hoping against hope that does not happen with Legends Z-A.
I think Z-A, it's taking a more focus on battles, which is good.
Yeah, that is good.
Arceus didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was one of my biggest complaints about the game.
That was another thing that I think that there's a big I'm friends with a decent amount of PokeTubers now. This was a relatively recent development. And a big separation between me and them. And there's a lot of them, but this is probably one of the biggest ones, is I actively was hoping against a time period piece for Legends Z-A. I didn't want them to do this is in this era of this region, because I feel like Legends Arceus used it as a crutch to make the game worse, where they were like, well, of course there's no trainer battles. You're in the past. Everybody's scared of Pokemon right now except for you. You're the only trainer. You can't do a trainer battle.
Not having trainer battles suck.
Exactly. So like I think that also was the case in a lot of different ways. Like the game used its setting to limit what the gameplay is a lot. So I wanted so bad for them to not do that. We checked off that box. Luckily, it's a modern era Pokemon game. We got the trainer battles, so it won't have that limitation. But I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. What is the limitation, if there is one?
I don't. I don't know. I mean, I can guess where the story is heading, kind of, because they show you AZ in there.
Yeah.
Which he's kind of like a very interesting character. Like, I feel like he's a interesting character in the Pokemon universe, like overall, because what is he, an immortal being just roaming around, cursed to live forever?
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Mega Man in the chat.
But also, why did they name it ZA?
Because AZZA, get it?
You know what? Yeah. So they're obviously going somewhere with it. They're obviously going somewhere with that
it's
kind
a
of
ZA
storyline.
origin story. It's an AZZA origin.
Well,
or maybe he died.
Well, he's old. He's old now.
Yeah. But I don't know. Flashbacks.
You might get that. Maybe a time travel.
Yeah, you like travel back in time with him. It's like it's
because
it's also, Baruto when he went back in time with his dad or whatever.
I also don't see them like doing that too, because it would make the game. They wouldn't get their E rating that they're looking for.
Oh, if he dies, people die in Pokemon all the time.
No, because in AZ.
Oh, because of the war.
Yeah. It was horrific.
Yeah,
People were dying left and right.
People did die. That could be implied. They can cut
it will definitely be implied. It will definitely be implied.
So Mega Man, he added, because I said, what's the limitation in this game? He said, limitation is the city. Right. That's my thought. It is.
Yeah,
like, yeah, absolutely. But I think that the way that people are thinking about that being a limitation is like that's like it's only a limitation because we think it is. Like, I think this game will absolutely be as big, if not not significantly in terms of like by a magnitude of multiplied factors. I think it will be bigger than Legends Arceus. I think the amount of like traversable land will be more than the last video game. But it will be in the same setting, so people will feel like it's smaller, you know? Like, I think that will be a limitation only in name, you know? So
I think it just depends how dense it is, too.
I think
how dense they make it.
That's how I feel like it's going to be more dense than people are giving it credit for being able to be. For me, let me just say, I don't foresee that being the thing that makes me not like the game. I'll say that. I don't think that will be the.
I played open world games that absolutely were trash and sucked.
That's
and
fair.
Had a whole big open area. I mean, Wind Waker with the giant ocean being one of them.
Right.
But it like if they add like even if they have these zones and these zones are really dense and they have a lot of like different zone types or whatever, or like different levels to the zone, I think it would be cool. Like if you go underground in the sewers, you get sewer types or like trash like the poison types and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like they can easily do that, and I figured that's probably what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if you're on the skyscrapers, you're going to get flying types, you know?
Exactly. And there's so many games that were before the era of open world video games that took place in one town. You know, it's like people forgot that you can have like 100+ hour games that take place in one setting, because we just came to the place where it's like GTA, you know, like the next GTA.
Technically, GTA takes place in one spot, one city.
Well, you're talking about the older ones, not the next one. That's one state, it sounds like.
Oh wait, you mean 6 is going to be a whole?
Isn't it Florida? Isn't it Florida?
Yeah.
I think it's just Florida.
I think it's all of Florida, and then it's like the city, Vice City is there, and whatever
that's
else
like
they add.
within Florida. But yeah, Vice City is actually the example that I was thinking about. Like, yeah, that whole game takes place in one city.
GTA 4 takes place all in just Manhattan,
all in one city. Spider-Man PlayStation 4 and Miles Morales and 2 all take place in one city. So it's like that is just
I critique it all the time when I'm playing it. This is not where Coney Island is.
It's absolutely not. It's a truncated version of the city. They remove it's like different. They remove different parts in different games,
and they make Coney Island look so much nicer than it actually is. Coney Island's not that nice.
Of course they're going to do that.
It's not that nice.
Of course they're going to do that, man. You can't have it looking bad.
It looked modern. I'm like, no, it doesn't look like this.
Well, that's because Coney Island doesn't have Spider-Man.
Well, actually, they want to. People in the city, they're trying to close down Coney Island to open up a casino, and people are so against it.
That's terrible.
I think so too.
That's where everything's going. Everything's going to gambling, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I think I am cautiously optimistic. The fact that this is an action RPG.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So the fact that this is an action RPG already
you cut out. What happened?
Hello?
Yep.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was saying the fact that this is an action RPG already gives it a higher chance, at least for me, to be my favorite Pokemon game. Because my biggest
changing
complaint,
up the formula. It looks sick.
Yeah, I agree.
And the player can get damaged. That's even more cool. That's so cool.
That is true. He can get
in the
damaged.
middle of a Pokemon fight.
I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know what that's going to mean. If it's going to be the same thing as the other game, where like you get hit 3 times or whatever, and you black out. Is that what it is? I don't know.
In the other games, right? In Arceus, even if you got into a trainer fight,
they don't hurt you. Yeah.
You don't get hurt. You can just walk around. That's all.
Right. Yes.
And this one, you have to legit position yourself to like for a quick attack to do commands.
But that's the thing. Cool. I don't know if that's actually going to matter because we haven't seen that. We haven't seen what happens if you get hit. Because I think the main reason, because we don't know, as far like nobody has put hands on with this game, so we don't know how to move our Pokemon. I think the reason why you move yourself is because that's where your Pokemon move. It's like I'm standing here, so come to where I'm standing, and that's where they move to dodge the move.
You know what? You know what's my prediction? Why you have to move, and what happens when you get hit? I don't think you're gonna die when you get hit. That's not.
Yeah, same.
I think your turn gets delayed. If you get hit, you're not going to be able to command your Pokemon.
I can see that. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Like that.
I think that would make a lot of sense. And I think that a lot of funny moments will happen if you can actually play with humans.
It would be so funny, yeah. Dude.
It's going to be like Mario, like how I play Mario Strikers. It's like me and my friends just tackling each other. We're not even paying attention to the ball because at this point we're playing the game ahead of the game. Where it's like, well, if you can't get the ball, you can't score. So nobody's getting the ball, and that's what's going to be. It's just everybody attacking the trainer so they can't attack.
Basically, well, if there's multiplayer, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. It would be.
That would be really funny if there is multiplayer because that's what it'll degrade down to. I'm all for it.
I'm hoping for it. I need that, but I could see it probably not happening, which will make me sad unless there's more to the game than I think. So this is the part that I think will be the limitation. I think that there's a real chance that their execution will suck because their execution in Legends Arceus sucked to me. And I think a lot of other people, to be fair.
It was a cool. For me, for the battle system in Arceus, I think.
Yeah. I wasn't even.
I think doing the strong, agile, and normal movesets were cool.
Yeah.
It was a cool thing to see your turn orders change and all that stuff.
The NPCs be cheating. That's one thing.
NPCs cheat.
They just ignore the turn.
But that was about it when it came to like everything else.
So what I'm talking about is the boss battles. That is a limitation.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah,
boss battles were terrible. Awful.
Because the default complaint every time people see a game that doesn't look like the most modern game in the world is like, this looks like a PlayStation 2 game. No, this game felt like a PlayStation 2 era Crash Bandicoot boss fight. That's what these boss fights felt. It felt like they're like they never made an action game. Well, they made action. Game Freak, they made smaller action games before, but they never made an action game on this scale. So they didn't understand like hit detection and like the amount of input. I mean, not input lag, but the amount of like invincibility frames that you should have.
What it felt like it felt like old school like fighting a mini boss in old school God of War.
Yes.
But way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
There's so many. I wish I saved this as a highlight, but there's so many boss fights where I would literally get frame trapped. I would get hit by one thing, like Arceus. He does a little earthquake. I'll get hit by one Arceus earthquake, and or am I thinking? I might be thinking of Dialga or Pocket, one of those two. They're like Origin Awakening form things.
We're kind of doing a disservice to those PlayStation 2 games because in those PlayStation 2 games you had combos. Where's your combo in this one? You just throw a sack.
That is true. You don't have combos in this game.
There's no combos. So you're just stuck throwing a sack.
Yeah.
And just hoping for the best.
So it's like, I'm hoping that it does not feel like that, because that was another thing that soured me on Arceus, is that in theory, it's like, yeah, action. I love action games. Big fighting game fan. Give me all the agency in the world. But their execution for their action combat system was terrible. And to bring it back to what you were saying, as far as the battle system itself, in theory, it's cool because something that I always, my core desire with Pokemon is I just want tangible change. The only way that I can think of them to change it, if I were to do it with my lived experience to make it cool, is to make it an action game. Does that mean that it can only be an action game? No. I'm fine with them thinking of something cool that's still turn-based and one, Clair Obscure, Expedition 30. They could do whatever they want to do in that regard. As long as it's something tangibly different and makes me feel more engaged in the game that I'm playing, I'm all for it.
Also, I would really love, ZA is probably not going to happen, but like, unless they're adding a completely new battle system, if they're going doing their mainline, please add a whole skip tutorial option. I would love that. In
ZA or in mainline Pokemon?
Just in general in Pokemon games.
I don't think they're doing that. I had to break it to you.
They'll never do it.
I don't think they're doing that. Do it. I think they care too much about the kayfabe. They care too much about that. I think that they've...
The what?
Kayfabe. You don't know what kayfabe means?
No.
Will Wolf. Ask him. Okay. Chat will probably say it. But they care too much about breaking the fourth wall, essentially. It's the same way that in Gen 1, instead of being like, do you want to play easy mode or medium or hard? They say, do you want to pick Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur? Like, that's what that is. It's like, you want to play a hard mode? Pick Charmander. It's that sort of thing. I think, and they, like I was saying, they toy with it a little bit where like you can skip the catching tutorial in certain games if you catch a Pokemon before you talk to the trainer. Or, like how in Breath of the Wild, a go-to example for me is like if you get the blue flame and you activate the lab before you talk to Pura. She's just like, yo, you already knew this. Sick. I think that's what they would do. Kai comes in chat and he said Gen 5 play with hard, normal and hard mode. I'll say, and they have an easy mode too, you have to beat the game to do that. You have to beat the game to get the hard mode and the easy mode and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. So it's not exactly what people are asking for usually in this regard.
Okay.
Yeah, but right. I think that if they're going to do something like that, there has to be some sort of like in-game lore way that you're like signaling, I already know what I'm doing here, for them to actually skip it.
You can do that with good writing.
They could. Yeah.
You could do that with good writing.
Keyword there. Good writing. Keywords. Good writing. I don't think that they have that. Even the Pokemon stories that people swear by are not that good. They're good in the realm of Pokemon. It's like how I talk about Pokemon is like there are good Pokemon games. There is no there's no Pokemon game that is good, but there are good Pokemon games. If that makes sense.
Wait. What? So I know you're replaying through them. You're on X and Y right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that story?
So far, the story, I think all the stories are bad. All of them are bad.
Generally.
All of them are bad. And they're not even like Pixar level, because like obviously all of them are like trying to be like they're for kids. Like they want to be approachable to everybody, but like the story is so a kid can understand it. Pixar will like talk over the kid, but the kid will still have ways to like, be let in on what's going on, Pokemon doesn't do that. Pokemon isn't even that good at telling stories for kids. They tell stories that are like passable or not even worth it. And there's lore, like they're very good at lore. That's the thing. People confuse, especially in the Pokemon fan base, people confuse lore for story. Pokemon has some phenomenal lore, but they're terrible at incorporating that into the story.
You know what? I think the same could be said for like some other Nintendo games too, like
100%.
Zelda.
Yeah. Yep.
Zelda has great lore. A lot of their stories suck.
Yeah, they're true.
Very, very cut and dry. I think my favorite Zelda story was one of the worst Zelda games, which is Skyward Sword. It's the only one that actually told a kind of a cohesive story.
I mean, I'll say, and there's good and bad to that. I think Nintendo kind of swears by that approach. And I think that it serves them well in the gameplay department. But as far as like having serviceable stories that people come back and they care about, apart from like it being attached to their nostalgia, they don't really have much to speak to in that regard.
But
I'll also say, even the stories in gaming at large that people hail as like phenomenal stories, most of them are just good because they're like approximations of film and literature that gamers have access to. It's not like
for Nintendo games.
No, I mean period. I mean
games period.
I mean industry wide, best case scenario, most game stories, and there's like some examples that I've heard people say, like, and there's like some moments, you know, in like certain Metal Gear games, like the whole thing where it's like, oh, like they use they look at your memory card and be like, oh, that's cool. They're using the interactive medium to help tell their story. But there's no game that does what film did when it understood that it was film. Like, bad storytelling in film is like telling you what's happening in text, right? What you do is you show, you don't tell in film, right? In video games, the version of that should be you don't show, you let me play. And there aren't any games that do that in a meaningful way. There's games that do that in certain moments. There's games that kind of try to emulate that feeling, but most of them are still like...
I think there's certain games you haven't played yet.
I mean, of course there's certain games that I haven't played.
Have you played Expedition?
Expedition 33, is that what you're talking about?
Expedition 33, it does show a lot. It does do a lot of show, but there are moments where it does.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. There's definitely games that have moments like that. I'm talking about from top to bottom. The entire experience it only happens if you interact with the game. Like that story, like the story that is happening in the game is core to interaction. It's not like it lets you engage with the story at moments that matter. And like, what's the game called? Octopath Traveler, right? There's like certain moments in that game that if you interact with it, certain things change and stuff like that. And then the more recent, I think it was it Triangle Strategy? It's one of the other games that they brought over.
I dropped Octopath
for a long time.
I
talked to Kevin Henson about this game. What was it? Oh, Live Alive. That's what it is. That's what the game is.
Oh, okay.
That game, there's moments like that from my understanding that it's like, okay, well, this doesn't happen if you don't play the game like this, right? I don't mean...
Well, Undertale is one of those games too.
I played that game as well.
Undertale's a huge one.
Right.
I don't know about Deltarune yet.
But even Undertale, and like, I don't want to spoil Undertale. All these games, they're like very distinct moments. Like they like what they end up being is like, they diverge into multiple choice of like varying amounts of endings, you know, rather than, and it would obviously take a lot of work or a very smart solution for them to actually make a game fully truly interactive and have a story that's fully truly interactive and not just like you fulfilled these parameters so you get this ending, rather than like when you live your life, right, and you go through things and things happen to you, it's not because you had a completion percentage in this bucket that led to this thing happening. Like things happen because things happen that are a result of things that happen. You know, and all that is informed in real time.
I would say a lot of the games today, they're mostly like, like if you do this, this happens. If you do this, like this happens.
So
like
and so
in terms
remember
of
that,
like different choice, right?
Yeah.
But there are games that are outliers. I would say is like
there's definitely outliers.
There's Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. I don't know if you're a fan of it.
I've heard of it. I still need to play it. I'm going to play it when it comes to Switch 2. I've been kicking that. I've been punting that down the field.
It's one of those games is like a lot. Like things won't happen unless you do X action. Mm-hmm. That it happens a lot in that game. Even Undertale has its moments where it's very much like that.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's only like legitimately
good
like
ending, bad ending, you know, that kind of thing.
Neutral, yeah. Whereas in like something like Baldur's Gate, there's
you might have an entirely different game. Yeah.
Yeah, you have an entirely different game. Like there are legit actions that will change everything about the game because you decided to talk to this person or kill this one.
Right.
But a lot of games don't do. A lot of games like to be safe. Is the word I like to use.
The thing is, it's like it would be like if most of film was like literal slideshows that told their story through captions and that's it. That's how most game stories are. It's like that equivalent where they use the medium that's like directly adjacent to it. Like I would say it's like a previous evolution of the idea of like what storytelling is, like logical conclusions and stuff like that. Most of them are movies where you get to press X sometimes. Those are like the video games that people herald as like the best stories in game. The Last of Us, you know, like those kind of games. GTA 5, but it's a movie, exactly. And that's most of the Walking Dead. Most of these games are movies where you get to play the game sometimes. That's what it is.
None like of even Expedition 33, as great as a story is, fantastic story. Like there's not much change to the story itself, unless like
the gameplay isn't integral to the story. The gameplay is important because it motivates the player to want to play through the story, but the gameplay isn't required for the story to exist. And that is what I think gaming is missing for, like, as a medium to be recognized as a true storytelling medium. Like, because I mean, I just studied media. Like, I have a degree in media. So like looking at the history of those like different mediums like literature and film, like that's when film matured into its own thing, where it acknowledged like, okay, this is the strength of like what we can do here that we can't do with the written word, and vice versa. There, like that still happens where like people are like, oh, the book's better than the movie, you know. That doesn't really exist in games. That, of course, exists for gamers and individual people because they like the medium personally more. But there's not a game that is a better story because it's a game. It's just a story that people resonate with more because it's a game. And I think that's different. But all that is to say, yeah, I agree with you. Nintendo, not great at telling stories. Pokemon, more so. But yeah, no.
I mean... Yeah, I can't think. I'm trying to think of a good story-driven Nintendo game. I'm having a hard time.
I just don't.
I'm drawing a blank.
I don't think there is one. I don't think
they're
just
they're just like
they're very good at lore
mechanics.
They're so good at lore, and it's because of how they design their games. They don't care about the story until they have to. It's like we were talking about at the beginning of the show with you with thumbnails. Where it's like, oh shoot, I gotta make a thumbnail.
Technically, wait, Xenoblade.
Yeah, Xenoblade
has a good story.
That's fair.
Xenoblade has a good story, but it has a good story
in the video game way that we were just talking about. But not,
yeah. In the normal video game, it's the normal like.
That's fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. But yeah, no.
I even 2 has a good story, even if I don't like the voice actors. But 1 through 3, I love those games.
Yeah,
except 2.
Except 2. I agree. I think that's a good assessment. There was something else that I was going with that. Oh, the Pokemon Direct still. Gen 10, I think we might see a tease. I don't think we'll see any kind of gameplay. I think we might see like
a region.
Them announcing the announcement for the next thing, like either we get, something like that. I could see that, or them announcing that they have big plans for the 30th anniversary, where it's like, oh, you would normally expect a new Pokemon game, but we're not doing that right now because funnily enough, that happened in one of the early directs for the Nintendo Switch, where they said, we're making a Nintendo Switch Pokemon game. See you next year, everybody. And then it was let's go. But I think that we might get something like that. I think we might get some small morsel of like, we have plans for Gen 10. It's coming to Nintendo Switch 2. See you later, everybody. But I think on the whole, this direct will be focused on the stuff that I already mentioned that people are going to hate. Pokémon Legends Z-A. And then Pokemon Champions, maybe we get a reveal for when Champions is coming out.
Yeah, probably. I feel like they might actually. I think we're going to see a lot of ZA, and then I think a bit more details on Champions. That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I know there's like the people are really like people who play competitive Pokemon are really excited for Champions.
I got people that play competitive Pokemon mad at me about my Champions take.
Why? What's your Champions take?
Because that's a bigger. I think that Champions is a means to them weaning people off of the current battle system. I think Champions is a safety net. I think that Gen 10 is a good opportunity for them to like push the boundaries in what Pokemon gameplay is. And I feel like that partially because of ZA, but mostly because I feel like the past like 3 generations has been them slowly trying to redefine what a Pokemon game is.
I feel like as they should. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I agree. I agree with you. I've been screaming at the top of my lungs, change everything
like
about this game since I started.
I feel like
YouTube.
the battle system should change.
Yeah, it should. But VGC fans are very similar, and I don't know how familiar you are with this, but they're very similar to Melee fans, where a lot of them are only good at this, and they only play this, and they fear that if Pokemon changes, they may not like, and worse, they may not be good at what Pokemon becomes. So
I mean, I like Melee. I love the fast-paced Melee, but I'd be a liar if I said Ultimate isn't my favorite one.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the character roster.
And I mean, I like the idea of Melee. I like watching top level Melee. Like I'll watch like a top 8 for Melee. I think Melee is not as good of a game. Like I think
I have a hot take.
What's that?
Here. I can't watch competitive Pokemon.
I think competitive Pokemon's whack. I don't think that's a.
Okay,
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
I don't like.
You know what's funny?
Mean, there is skill going into it for sure, but like
skill,
it's turn based. I'm watching.
Question. Quotes.
I'm trying to peel the Band-Aid off of very slowly.
FriedBiscuits, your take can be that it takes skill. My take, my official take, that I will put my name on that bullet and scream at the top of my lungs, skill in quotation marks.
Bro, I'm trying to be nice.
That's
because
fair. You could be nice. You could be the nice
my
one.
last Pokemon video that I did when I talked about ZA, and I gave it I was very neutral with it. I got compared to Verlicify, and I was like, oh God.
That's funny.
Oh God, dude. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I'll stay away from this topic for a while.
I'll say I've been screaming about changing Pokemon from the ground up for a very long time. I've never been compared to him. I'll say that,
dude. I compared to Verlicify. I'm good, dude.
Yeah,
I'm good. It was only like one comment, but it still was enough to
that's rough, man. Yeah, it scared me away too.
Dude, the first thing is first. I didn't even know who he was until that comment
you did
came
the deep
along.
dive.
And I'm like, who is this guy? Yeah. And then the first video popped up, the scourge of the furry scourge of the Pokemon community. I'm like, oh God, I really don't need this right now. And I did a 180. I'm like, I'm gonna chill out with this subject.
Yeah, not a great dude.
No, he's a terrible person.
Yeah, he's
terrible person.
A good dude. No. But yeah, no, I think that there's a real chance, and I don't know if it's going to be night and day right away. But I do think it'll be similar to like what Scarlet and Violet was to Arceus, where like after playing Arceus, a lot of people were like, yo, they need to just do this, you know, like I never want to like have to engage with a Pokemon again. I just want to throw the Pokeball at them, and like I want to sneak around, and you know, and they toyed with it a little bit. They hinted at it with the Let's Go system, and like being
I did
able
like
to do
the catching system in Arceus way
I
more.
agree. I agree with you.
It was one of the good things about that game that 100%. Was really good.
I think that was really good. System. I think the way that the Pokedex worked was really good. And there's other elements of Arceus that I think are really good, but I think that they are really good as enhancements to the game the way that it already exists.
They also kind of gave you a proper ending battle to Arceus.
Yeah.
That I haven't felt in a Pokemon game for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's because Pokemon's not supposed to end.
I was like, what am I walking into right now?
Pokemon's not supposed to end. It's supposed to be like, you know, you beat the league, you beat the evil team syndicate, and now live your life as a trainer. You know, it's supposed to be a slice of life anime.
Essentially, yeah.
And that's another thing. I talked about this a little bit with the service thing. That's another thing that I think would be really cool with Pokemon is like, give us new episodes. Give us like, yo, there's a new evil team, or yo, you're going on vacation to this weird place, or you know, that sort of thing. I think that will work really well with the way Pokemon functions. But I think that we could see some level of that happening, where like in the same way that like Scarlet and Violet didn't go full bore with the like Arceus gameplay. There's like hints of it. There's like certain things that they're like, oh yeah, we'll do a little bit. You know, like you could still sneak up on the Pokemon and throw the Pokeball, and it'll like stop them from moving for a turn and that sort of thing. I think we'll see something like that, where it's like, oh yeah, they were thinking about this when they made ZA or vice versa. You know, again, I don't know how far they'll go. If I were to like, my gut says that they'll go a little bit further than they did. With
I just hope it's more like, I hope that with ZA the actual battles is not it's implemented correctly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Biggest hope.
That it's implemented right, and we wind up ending up with more mainline games kind of like that, to move away from the turn-based, or just have an active turn-based system, or whatever you want to call it at that point.
I want Pokemon to be Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy VII Remake, like that kind of deal. I still want it to be an RPG. I think that that's core to a lot of what Pokemon is. I think stats and stuff like that are important to what Pokemon is, like the world. I think it does tell the story that they want to tell best. But I think the turn-based part of it specifically does not. I think in every other place other than the card game, because like that's kind of like you can't really get away from turns in a card game. Every other way that they show Pokemon, it's frenetic. It's not like, all right, Pikachu, Thunderbolt, your turn. You know, it's like Pikachu, Thunderbolt, and then use Iron Tail, and then jump off the wall, and then like it's a fighting game. They're like, even in fighting games, if you want to get super nerdy about it, you're quote unquote taking turns. You always have a turn. But the difference between a fighting game and a turn-based RPG is that you have control over when you get to take your turn. And that is all I want in Pokemon.
Or what happens when your opponent takes their turn.
Exactly. Yeah. How much their turn affects you.
True.
And there's like none of that in Pokemon. I'll say like all you have control over in that regard is like beforehand. It's like the items I give my Pokemon, the EVs, the IVs, I think that's why composition.
I liked Expedition 33 so much.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that.
And that's why I liked it so much, because you don't just sit there and take what the enemy is giving you. You can dodge, you can parry and attack back,
Yeah. I think that's.
But also, it doesn't. Pokemon doesn't need to be an Expedition 33. That's not what I'm saying. Like,
it could be its own thing. But
it could be its own thing.
I think it just shouldn't be what it currently is. I think the fact that Zelda did that jump, and like it is indistinguishable as far as gameplay is concerned, and when you look at the screen from what it was 30 years ago, Pokemon should be indistinguishable from what it was 30 years ago, and right now it's not.
Well, it's the same thing when I talk about like Final Fantasy. Some people think it should have stayed turn-based, and I vehemently disagree. Yeah. Because like one they're always trying to push the envelope, even though 16 kind of dropped the ball with its combat system, really hated it. But like every other like Final Fantasy game that I played with the combat system that it had, it's really good. Like F7 Remake, 15, even 13 I kind of liked with its combat system,
Yeah. I only played
if it was always the same, I would not have liked the series as much as I did. There would be no way.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pokemon and the way that it functions and the fact that they want to have a competitive scene, it can't change that often, but I think it should have changed by now. I think 30 years is too long for them to do this.
No, it's been a long time since the combat hasn't changed in 30 years, right? Yeah. Like Arceus, it technically really didn't change either. Just you were able to add an additional change your turn order. And
if they did that well, I'm cool with that. If they add additional layers and that sort of thing, and it's still
like
a turn-based.
Persona does it?
Like whatever.
Or Shin Megami Tensei.
Whatever turn-based RPG you want to throw at me, man. If that also fits in a competitive realm where I'm playing against a human, I'm down to try that. It doesn't need to be an action game. I just think that that's the easiest, most best proven way, to make it.
If Pokemon became more of an action game for a competitive, I'd be playing so much of it.
I know. I think that's how a lot of the people. Because that's the thing. That's the biggest.
I hate turn-based. I can't see
agree with you.
Turn-based be competitive. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm breaking them. The mask coming off. Screw it. You can't have a turn-based competitive. All right. What? I'm gonna train EVs for thousands of hours and have stupid RNG. I just want to jump into the game.
That's the worst part. I hate, and this exists in like Smash Brothers too. Like there's RNG in that too. And every time somebody loses because of RNG, I hate it. It's like, that's so whack. Like, you didn't win because you were better. You won because the game said you should win. And that's garbage. You're not playing against your opponent at that point. You're playing against the game. And that's a battle you can't win. But I'll say...
It's a battle of rock, paper, scissors with either, which makes either my paper or my rock or my scissors be more effective based on whatever EVs I have, what movesets I have, I guess.
It's like rock, paper, scissors if sometimes you can't do rock because the game says that your hand is positioned as scissors already. And it's just like, man, that's whack. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that there's definitely
I'm not the fan of...
Oh, this is what I was saying. I think a big thing about successful sports in general, but esports in particular, is people being able to watch it, understand what's happening, and to want to do it too.
All right. So yes, but also it's ease of access. Think about Counter-Strike, for example. Even though they're wildly different games, I'm very, very much aware.
Right.
But like when the shooter genre was coming off with esports and what made Counter-Strike like set itself apart from like Quake or everything else was just how easy it was to pick up. If you ever jumped into like Quake or Doom or whatever, Quake, it was, I guess, the arena shooters, you got trashed. If you did not put thousands of hours in the game, know exactly where everything dropped and knew how to play the game to a T, you got absolutely trashed. Whereas in Counter-Strike, at the time, you were able to just pick it up and it was the simplest game. All you had to do is point, click, and throw utility, and that was it. And because of how simplistic it is, it was very easy for the general consumer to pick up. I mean, that's how it is with Call of Duty. It's how it is with a lot of other competitive games.
Absolutely. And that's true. It's like, competitive needs to be easy to learn, hard to master. I think that there's multiple Nintendo games that, most of them in spite of themselves, nailed that mixture, you know? I think there's obviously Smash Brothers, we talked about that already. Mario Kart even is a pretty solid competitive game, and I think that has a lot of RNG in it, but it's still something that has a vibrant competitive scene. And Pokemon, I think, has an active scene, but it's way smaller than it should be given how big the IP is.
Smash Bros is like perfect, I think, when you're talking about because like it's so easy to pick up. You can have it as casual as you want it. Like for me, like when I host my lobbies, everything is off. Items are off, all of it except one little thing, because I'm not that great at the game. I put Final Smash meter because I think it adds like an element of like chaos to it.
Yeah,
that allows me a chance. But even then, I had someone who was so freaking good.
I was
able to literally dodge them like perfectly. Just dodge them. Like, I don't care about this.
So that's what I was going to say. That's an illusion. I'll say, as somebody that is a little deeper in the competitive.
I kind of like this Final Smash though. It's kind of cool.
I won't say. I don't specifically mean the Final Smash. I think that there's like obviously a meta to the Final Smashes. I think that there are Final Smashes that are better than others. But I'll say for the most part in Smash Brothers, and I want to get back to your original point, but in Smash Brothers, it's like somebody that's better than you can just be better than you. It doesn't really matter. They're gonna know the stage better than you, so they're gonna know how to cheese you on the casual stage better than you would be able to. You know, they're gonna pick characters that are better at grabbing the item or being able to combo off of certain things or being able to more easily dodge it. And like, you know, you're never really going to even the playing field with somebody that's like really competitive at the thing. But I will say, to go back to your original point, the thing that is so perfect about Smash Brothers is like, no matter how good you are at the game, you're able to identify why it's impressive when you look at somebody that is. You look at the game and you're 100%. Like, just the way they move is like crazy. And it helps a lot for the people that have a little bit more desire to want to get good, that like you can look at it, see that it's impressive, and have a starting point for how to get there too. You know, it's like, oh, okay, they're like wave dashing, even though it doesn't apply in Ultimate. I mean, it exists, but it's just bad. Wave dashing is just air dodging towards the ground. I know how to do that. I know how to air dodge. I know how to point at the ground, you know. It's that sort of thing. Pokemon doesn't really have that. It's just exposure therapy. That's what Pokemon is. It's like everybody that I know that is quote unquote good at Pokemon, and that goes from the more casual, you know, like people that I know in the real world to like the best Pokemon VGC player in the world. It's all exposure. It's I know what my opponent is going to do because this is what the meta is. So I just need to counter that, or I just need to use that. That's what it is. It's all exposure.
In defense to, I guess, Pokemon VGC players, I will say, I mean, maybe it's more like a deck building thing. Like,
yeah,
even though there's only technically four cards, right? It would be more of like a deck building thing. Like if I were to play Magic against somebody and seeing what works and coming up with different recipes of that deck to beat my opponent. I think that's what people really like about the VGC scene right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or whoever plays it.
Yeah.
It does not appeal to me.
It does.
I don't like the turn based. I think
and
it's inherently different than a card game.
I don't know if Mega Man's still here, but I do want to have this episode on a week where I don't specifically have, you know, news going on, where I want to talk to Mega. I want to do this deep dive because we've had this conversation, we've started it, and it's funny because like Mega Man will tell you, I got him into VGC. I don't like VGC, and I am like adamantly like
his name is Mega Man VGC.
Yeah. And it wasn't always that, I'll say that. And we've started having this conversation and stuff like that. But we've never been able to fully break it down because there's a lot that I have to say. Like and this is how I think we were talking about this a little bit at Too Many Games, but this is just the type of person I am where it's like VGC specifically. I like Pokemon. I love the world. I like the universe. I don't like VGC and when I had the first like little inklings of like, I don't think I like how this battle system works. My first instinct was to learn as much about it as I could and to get good at it so I could fully understand why I don't like it. and that's where I'm at. It's like I know so much about it's not like people's first like instinct when they hear somebody doesn't like something a lot of times it's like, oh well, you haven't tried this, or you just don't know enough about, or you're just bad. It's like, no, I know, I understand it, and I've hit Master Ball tier every time I've tried.
I think it also just applies like it's just different strokes for different folks too.
Yeah, that's also that's very true.
Like I can be like, AJ, let's play Counter-Strike. You're gonna love it, and you're gonna despise every moment of it.
I don't think that's true. I disagree with you. I think I would like Counter-Strike.
You would like Counter-Strike?
I think I would.
Play Counter-Strike?
I'm down.
I've been trying to get people to play Counter-Strike with me. I've been trying to get.
The only thing I don't like is the PC of it all. Like that's the only part I don't like.
I've been trying to get Bob and Wood to play it, but all they want to do is play Valorant instead. And I like Valorant, but Valorant is an inherently different game, and a lot of things bother me about it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. That makes sense. I think that the thing about Pokemon, because it's like, everything about VGC, at least, I should like it. Like the kind of person that I am, like when I'm playing a game, and especially if it's a game that has a long tail and it has like built-in reasons for me to want to stay and continue to play the game, usually I'm down. Even if I originally don't like how the game plays, I'm going to learn how to get good at it, and I'm going to eventually have fun because of that. But with Pokemon, there's various reasons why that just doesn't happen, and it can't happen. Partially because what we touched on as far as like the RNG and all that stuff. But there's a lot of other things that I'm going to go into when I talk to Mega Man about it. And we've talked about this, but we just fully haven't been able to I haven't been able to give him all of my points. Because he is like, it's almost like, but this trap card, and he doesn't know that I have a trap card for every trap card he got. Like, all right. I know ultimately it's like, you could like what you like, and I'm not trying to talk nobody out of liking what they like. But I know why I don't like it, and I know why the general public hasn't embraced it as much as they should for a game that's that big. Like Pokemon being a game that sold close to 30 million copies 2 times over in the last like 5 years should have a way bigger competitive scene.
One of the most popular IPs in the world.
It literally is the most popular IP in the world. It's the most successful intellectual property in the world. Entertainment, because the Bible and other related, but yeah, no. As far as like entertainment brands, it is literally the most successful entertainment brand in the world, but it's not as successful competitively as it should be because it's not as approachable to the masses. Most people do not see Pokemon and say, that's a game I want to play, competitively, especially. Most people, even when they play the main game, they don't fully play they catch their starter, they level them up to level 100. That's their guy. That's all they use. If they even get that far. And it's that sort of thing. But yeah, no. Pokemon Direct is going to be cool. I think that
I'm hoping the Direct is cool.
Uh-huh.
All right, I have
an
off.
Oh yeah, there was another thing that you said you wanted to. Yeah. What's up?
Off docket thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, because I'm doing my own research for this right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that the Switch 2 hate right now is a bit overblown, or is it deserved?
In what way? You mean like overblown hate towards Nintendo or hate for the platform itself?
Nintendo at the moment.
I'll say it's overblown. I think it's misplaced.
Okay.
I think it's
fair enough.
Misplaced anger.
All right. And if there is anger to be towards any gaming company, which one would you choose?
Gaming company?
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I personally, I don't like the way that Sony operates, but a lot of that is more personal than it is something that like you won't really catch me on the internet being like, everybody, this company, as far as gaming is concerned, is evil. Because my attention is on actual evil entities.
yeah, that's fair. Right now, I'm trying to like think like I think that I have like I have a thing against Xbox at the moment. Like, big time.
Yes. Yeah. Xbox is one of those companies, and it's probably not for the reason that it is for you. But Xbox is on the company list of evil companies. Yes. Yeah.
Well, Microsoft is just a crappy company overall, but also, like it's just in terms of like even if we were to remove all that in terms of gaming in the gaming space on just how crappy they are, like I've been going in deep diving. Like they laid off 9,000 employees recently, which is a crazy thing, and then they're replacing them with AI. Another thing. And also the fact that they buy up all these studios, some of my favorite studios, and just either constrict them to not doing anything rare or just shut them down completely, or games that I've been looking forward to. And then to top it off, even with PlayStation and Xbox, the thing that I'm getting really fed up with is like some of the best talent in the industry that these people have aren't around anymore because they lay them off.
Yeah.
Whereas like I have like,
or they leave in protest because of them laying
exactly.
off.
Yeah. And like we can go back to like how Nintendo operates as like as a.
I made a whole
company.
video about this, by the way. Yeah. Studio acquisitions and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. And the other thing too is like we can go as Nintendo operates as a company, and like I give them a lot of shit. Like I probably have something that I have things that I don't agree with that you do.
On this podcast, it's fine.
But
I'm not editing
but anyway, what I was going is I was reading a chat. Nintendo, when things are not looking too good, they'll take the higher ups will take a cut.
Right.
They rather keep the talent on because they know they can make those games. And majority of the people that, I'm not going to say all of them, but there's a good chunk of the people that were working on games when I was a teenager or even a kid are still working for Nintendo to this day.
Right.
Whereas in people that
they're very good with retention as far as employees are concerned. And every employee that I know personally is very happy there.
I could imagine. And then the same people that I grew up with, like whether it's Bungie or Xbox game studios or even PlayStation, a lot of those people aren't there anymore. They just retired or just don't make games or went off to make their own studio.
Right.
So I was just curious to see where your head was at when it came to because I think like in terms of, is the blowback on Nintendo deserved? It's like a yes and no answer for me. Mm-hmm. It's like, like you should always hold any kind of gaming company accountable for any kind of BS that they do.
Yeah.
But is it
I think it gotta be. It has to be within
the
reason.
Degree where no. Is a no.
It has to be within reason. And also, when I say it needs to be within reason, I also mean it has to be like well sourced. Because I think a lot of people's anger is like more, it's just that. It's the emotion of it. It's like the way that they feel about the thing. And they try to create facts, quote unquote, around that emotion rather than being angry about the facts that actually exist. Like I literally yesterday put up a video about the Welcome Tour situation. It's like people are mad about Welcome Tour not being a pack-in because when they play the game, it feels like the type of game that should be a pack-in.
It should be a pack-in.
And look at Wii Sports. That was a pack-in game. That was pretty good, right? And that sort of thing. But people aren't looking at like why those things exist and why any company, not just Nintendo, ever does a pack-in game. People think, in retrospect, that Wii Sports was like a gesture of goodwill. It was like them trying to make gamers feel good.
No, it was a system seller.
But yes, but not even a system seller in the way that we traditionally think about system sellers.
No, it was to get grandma and grandpa to play games with me.
I don't think that was their first goal.
It was to get people.
It was
one of their goals, I think.
It was to yes, it was definitely one of their goals. But the primary reason why they made and included Wii Sports, and this was something that Reggie had to fight for, and they didn't actually include it for free. It increased the price of the console by $40. But anyway, all that is to say, they did it because if they didn't do it, they felt like people wouldn't understand why they should buy Wii. And they were coming off of consecutive failures. Every console that they made, with not their handhelds are separate. But every home console that they made sold worse than the one before it. The NES came out, did great, it was the only dog in town. And then the SNES came out, it did pretty good, but it sold worse. That might be a little concerning, but we're all right. And then the N64 came out and it sold like 20-30% less than the last, and they're like, oh shoot. And then the GameCube came out, and that was their like it's the dream console as far as gamers are concerned. It's the same thing as the other guys.
It was the most powerful console in the market.
It was literally more powerful than the PlayStation 2. It's not as powerful as the Xbox, but it was more powerful than the PlayStation 2. It did have the limitation of the disc, but as far as what every gamer says they want out of Nintendo, that was the GameCube, and it was their worst selling console until Wii U.
Well, technically, they had to underclock the GameCube because it was just that powerful. If it was like as powerful as an Xbox, but they had to underclock it.
Yeah,
because it was literally melting the system.
Yeah, right. So like that's what it is. It's just like them being like, we have to try something different, and because we have to try something different, we think it makes sense to give people something that teaches them why they should care about this new thing. And Reggie specifically was like, yo, well, we have this game, we should give them this game so that they don't have to do the groundwork of figuring out why they should like this thing.
Because the consumer isn't going to do the groundwork.
They're not
half the time.
But fast forward to Nintendo Switch 2. We are objectively not in that place. Not only is the Nintendo Switch the most successful console handheld period that they've made, and will probably become the most successful gaming console ever in due time. They just continued on that. Like, that's what it is. It's just a better Nintendo Switch.
they don't need to do the groundwork. The Switch one already did it for them.
Exactly. So people already know why they want and they need the Nintendo Switch 2, because it's just a better version of the thing that they loved and that they were literally asking for half of the life cycle. So they don't have to convince people to like the thing. But separate from that, and again, this is people explaining Wii Sports backwards, as people think that they created this game with the specific, Welcome Tour specifically, with the intent to be like a manual. But it more than likely was the Mario Party team, which we have since confirmed that it was developed by the Mario Party team, were helping to work on Nintendo Switch 2, and they're like, this is neat, we should make this thing that kind of explains it. And then they took it to the higher ups, and the higher ups said, oh, okay, well, we'll do this and we'll charge $10 for it. They didn't think it was necessary to pack in, because it objectively was not. Would it feel nice?
It wasn't necessary to pack in. However, it would have been a nice
gesture. It would have been nice, but that is not why really nice any gesture. Corporation or even company that people want to like conducts business. No company on the planet is doing something solely because it is nice. All of them, even the ones that are doing it like with the initial idea of like, this would be nice, it's like, this would make our customers like us more and they will buy more things from us. Nintendo don't need us to like them more. They just don't. Especially not for the Nintendo Switch 2. They are selling every Nintendo Switch 2 that they can make right now, and Welcome Tour would not have helped them with that. Even if they packed it in, here's the world that we exist in if they packed it in.
Even though there's a big giant. I'm not gonna say giant. There's a vocal minority of people yelling about this system.
Yes,
Nintendo's not the ones they're not trying to sell it to you.
And most of these people that are yelling about this system own it. That's also the saying the quiet part out loud. Yeah,
I yelled about it.
Yeah,
look what I got.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey,
that's true for a lot of people.
The last video, I clowned on myself for doing it, for yelling about it,
and that's more than a lot of people are doing. So here's the thing, right? It's just like, I think if they did pack in Welcome Tour, people will be complaining about that too. And a lot of them will be the same people. It's like, we only get this as the pack-in game. Well, look at what Sony did with their pack-in game. And Wii Sports is way better than Welcome Tour. I don't care about this manual. How's that any better?
Well, Astrobot was a cool pack-in game, right? Like,
it was, yeah. It was.
That was a sick pack-in
But that's
game.
what I'm saying. That's what everybody would be doing, is just comparing this to that. And saying this isn't worth it because it's not as good of a pack-in game. Wii Sports was better, blah, blah, blah. Their goal here is more so opt in. They don't want to be like, well, all right, well, we are not going to give this away for free. We're just not. Even as a console incentive, blah, blah, blah. It's going to factor into the cost of the console, right?
Well, it wouldn't push the console either. It wouldn't sell it.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't sell it, and it would have.
If anything, the only argument would be that if it would sell it, if it was on the Switch 1, which it can't even run on the Switch 1 anyway.
Yeah, no. That would be, you know what? That would be hilarious. If it could run on Switch 1 and it was like a Nintendo Switch Online incentive, and like it was like people like them trying to sell you on Switch 2, that would be hilarious. And that would actually be worth it on a business end. I think more people would care.
Yeah, that would be worth it on a business end.
Yeah. You cooked on that, actually. But I'll say I think that most people would not engage with the game, and I think less people would engage with the game if it was a pack-in game than are engaging with it now. Because I can say personally, like removed from all of the content creation stuff and blah, blah, I think that everything in that game is interesting. And it's something that I wouldn't have seeked out in the means that I usually would have to seek it out if it weren't for content creation.
I just like
I would look up YouTube videos and Wikipedia pages and all this other kind of stuff. They put in a little goofy fun video game experience, and they let me pay $10 for it. I'm down. That's a day at the museum.
The one thing I like to test on that game, because I like to do it on my PC, is to test my eyes. Yeah, test my eyes.
Yep.
Because I do it all the time. Like, I'm actually a bit sensitive to frame rate. I'm able to tell when something is higher than 60. Once I start, I can't tell. Is like when I had my 240 hertz monitor, was when it went from like 120 to 144. I couldn't tell. It was hard to tell.
I'm sensitive to up to 60. It depends on what it is for 120. Like, I think a lot of the demos that they did for Welcome Tour were hard because there wasn't a lot of motion to judge it on. It's just a basketball and it's bouncing in a very specific way. Whereas like if it's a human, like the ones where they show like the museum exhibition-esque things for the tests, they demonstrate the frame rate by showing a person moving. It's very noticeable there. It's very easy to see, like, okay, that's 60, that's 120.
Because there's a lot of moving parts.
Exactly. But with a soccer ball, I'm like, I don't know, like I passed it, but it was not immediately apparent to me. And there's a lot of stuff, like even though I valued the game off rip, like I never was really cynical towards the game. I always had some level of interest in it. I also don't think $10 is a big ask, I spend that amount of money regularly and regret it more when it's like on food for the day. It's like, I hated this restaurant, like I have way more enjoyment out of Welcome Tour.
I live in New York City.
You're lucky getting $10. Yeah.
Bro, I bought a bacon, egg, and cheese with a coffee and a bagel, and it cost me like $13, $14.
You paid more than a Welcome Tour. That's just how I look at it personally. Me, I'm like, this is $10. I'm gonna at least get 4 hours out of this. Like that. I'm down, man. I'm down, and I'm still like actively enjoying it. Like I'm
not upset with Nintendo. I'm upset with my spending power, because that's actually what I'm upset about.
Yeah, I'm mad about that too. But I mean, they don't employ me. You know what I mean? So they have no control over how much money I make. I mean, they do spiritually. They spiritually have control over how much money I make in a way.
I mean, technically, if Nintendo really wanted to, which they haven't in a while, and I don't think they'll ever do it again, they can do their evil arc that they did with the Wii U back in the day.
I mean, they could. So that's the thing. That's a big separation factor for me too. I was on the internet and I was making money. I was a content creator back then. I never had a problem with them ever. I literally never had a problem in that regard.
Really? Ever. On the Let's Plays?
I never did Let's Plays, and that's the thing.
That's why.
Yeah, it's because I always make video essays, reviews, like that sort of thing. I have
Let's Players were getting screwed.
Yeah, they were getting nuked. Yeah, absolutely.
They were getting nuked.
100%.
Because they were a lot of them too were just not
they
even
would
talking.
Just play the game, and
they would just play the game.
But I've never had that problem because I always make transformative content. So that's never been my axe to grind. I don't really care. Personally, like I think it's cool that they're more lenient. That's neat, but me personally, it was never a threat to me. I always knew that what I am doing is on the up and up, and I can confirm for a fact this isn't even speculative because I've worked with them. You know what I mean? Like I know that what I do is something that's like, okay, like we can't really fight this because it's objectively transformative.
Nintendo probably does not want to ever work with me.
Probably not. I think you're the way you talk about them, they're probably not too keen on that. And also the emulation.
I love my emulation. To be fair, actually, I don't want to say the percent. Actually, I will. 90% of the games that I do emulate are from backed up files that I had from back in the day when I was backing up stuff. Yeah. Good thing I did, because I lost all my original games from a flood.
You know what? That's the thing, though. I think, and this is not an official statement from them, of course, but I genuinely believe that if that's how most, if not, I mean, preferably for them, if the way that they were emulating their games is that's what they did, is they backed up the game that they owned, they would be cool with it. But we all know that is not true. Most people that are emulating video games are stealing it.
We all know what the most pirated game of 2023 was.
Yeah, 100%.
We all know. It was Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. It was the most pirated game of 2023.
Yes.
Has to be. I think there was like 2 million or over 1 million illegal downloads from that.
There was that whole thing where it was like 2 million people downloaded Pokemon Black 2 and White 2.
Also, a lot of these people damage emulation because look, I'm not condoning it, but like even if you're stealing from Nintendo, right? Like, okay, for sure. But a lot of these people who emulate Switch games do indie games a lot of the times, because that's what runs on their system anyway. And they're just stealing money from indie developers that really could use it.
Yep.
And I'm not okay with it. Like, it's not even an ease of access things, because those same games are up on Steam.
Yeah. It's objectively they don't want to pay for it. That is just what it is. There's some people that genuinely care about game preservation and care about being able to play the game, you know, right to repair, that like adjacent to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
All that's cool, right? But I think most people that are emulating use those things as a shield. And I think that is what Nintendo is like mostly angry about. I think that if everybody just cared about game preservation and everybody just cared about right to repair and all that kind of stuff, I don't think Nintendo would be as aggressive about emulation as they are. But the fact is the opposite is true. And most people that emulate just want to steal. Like that is just
like
what it is.
Every game that I emulated, I owned or own currently.
Right.
And to top it off, the reason I would use it to emulate was there's no option for me to either play it on the Switch or there's like I want to mod it, and I know they're not okay with it, but that's the version. That's what I want to do.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually
they probably hate that more than the emulation itself. Not gonna lie.
Well, they're against it even with Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Wow, you can mod your game to oblivion as long as you're not getting like a leg up.
I'm pretty sure that's like a
cheating.
crime in Japan. It's like literally a crime.
It's a crime. So what Final Fantasy does 14? It's don't ask, don't tell policy. That's it. Don't ask about mods in the game. Don't talk about them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
No, that's where I'm at. I think that people are at worst or at best disingenuous with the Nintendo hate, because like they're making up a monster that everybody can easily hate, but like in reality it's not really well. Like the mango thing, and again I don't want to get deep into that right now because we already talked about it.
God.
But the mango thing I think opened a lot of people's eyes, where it's like, oh, that's why Nintendo doesn't like their scene. It's because that's those are the type of people that like are very loud and proud about being that.
I don't know. I'm so out of the loop when it comes to like the Smash scene.
I have always been very in the loop, and I have been screaming at the top of my lungs that it's terrible and they deserve everything that they get.
When you mentioned that on when you were on your stream and you were crazy for doing Birioka, I'm like, why? I'm like,
it was wild.
Yeah. I looked into all of like what just the whole entire like Smash. I'm like,
yes,
this is rancid,
and it's always been like that, and it's not this like hidden thing. Like literally, this is
the Counter-Strike community can be bad.
Yeah, nah. The biggest thing
compared to the Smash community.
This is an example that I've talked to like Lee specifically with a lot, right? Where the Smash, and this was like when it's probably at its fever pitch, because like early in the Smash Ultimate days was like when Nintendo was trying to like work their way back in and like officially support Smash Brothers as an esport, right? And there was a tournament that was happening during Nintendo sponsoring, the World Cup, the Panda World Cup situation. Mango won the tournament. They didn't sponsor this one because it was run by one of those companies that's like very like, punk rock. We hate Nintendo too, everybody. Mango won that tournament and he deep-throated the trophy. You think that's a thing that a children's video game figurehead should be doing?
No.
On their officially sponsored broadcast?
That behavior makes sense now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it is.
It makes sense.
That's what it is. It's like people feeling like these grown adults feeling like they should be able to be obscene and abhorrent because they're a grown adult, completely disregarding the fact that this is supposed to be approachable to children.
I think if you're okay, like you can do jokes or be obscene on like your own time.
Yes,
I guess as long as it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah,
or making anyone freaking uncomfortable. Like,
yeah,
crazy.
Yes,
but if you're on a tournament and you're representing a game, okay,
that is for children.
You're on totally different rule set. Even if it's not children's game, if you even look at like Counter-Strike, they have.
Children play the game.
They have to act with decorum.
Yeah, there
has to be decorum, or this is these are your pro players. This is what your game is like. I don't want my kid playing that.
Exactly.
Screw that.
Or watching it, or engaging with people that play it, or so on and so forth. So yeah, that's what it is. I mean, people just don't think about this stuff until it's too late. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. There always needed to be an adult in the room if I was more clouded, it would have been different. But unfortunately, I'm not. But I've been screaming about this for years. I have always been like, no, Mango, y'all got to rein that in at the very least. This was not a thing that was shocking to me. People were like, oh man, Mango really went beyond the pale. That's not the guy I know. You're lying.
I never knew about him until that.
I know you didn't. I was talking more so about people that were like actively friends with him, and
also like I'm hearing like he was like an alcoholic too.
Yes.
And
yeah, he has literally been banned on Twitch for a few days at a time because
went on a binge.
Because he literally passed out drunk on stream several times.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, it's not great.
I like when it comes to like if I was throwing any kind of event like that, I would not call an alcoholic to come in. No way, no how.
No, you don't. But that's not the note I wanted to end on. But here we are. Everybody go. It's all good. Everybody go check out FriedBiscuits. He'll be on the YouTube title thing. It's hyperlinked and whatnot. He's all discreet if you're watching the video version on Spotify and all those things. And if you're on audio and you're not subscribed to everything here, my channel, Watch Redirect on YouTube and FriedBiscuits, like I just said, go do it. And if you're on YouTube services, go download the podcast on Spotify. Need that. It helps with the things and stuff. And rank the podcast. I can't tell you what to rank it, but you know what to do. Okay, I'm going to continue to stream, but the podcast is over. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for having me.